Good morning, and dear colleagues, distinguished guests. I am really delighted to welcome you to this third edition of the European Union Macro-Regional Strategy Week. Our motto for this year, I think it's quite telling. It's engage, empower, evolve. So we want to engage with all the stakeholders to empower you all to make the most of all the strategies we have to offer. So that you can evolve your regions towards a smart, green, and a fair future. Last October, at a ceremony in Bratislava, Ukraine took over the presidency of the Danube strategy. And this was a very important and symbolic moment for the European Union, as it was the first time that a neighborhood partner country took the helm of one of our strategies and the confirmation of our ties with Ukraine. Since then, Russia, as you just mentioned, has started a war in Ukraine. Yesterday, at the opening of this week, you heard the message from the Ukrainian Deputy Minister Korkovy, almost 30 years after the Balkan Wars, and over half a century after the Soviet troops marched into Prague and Budapest. We witnessed again the shelling of cities, families being separated, convoys of refugees fleeing the horror of the war. All of this because of a failed revisionist ideology that glorifies the past and is ready to sacrifice the future. We stand with Ukraine and its people. They are fighting for their country, but also for something we hold dear, the freedom to determine one's destiny. The European Union has already taken decisive action to punish Russia for its aggression, Belarus for its complicity, and to support Ukraine in this dark moment. Last week, we have also taken the step to suspend the cross-border programs with Russia and Belarus with immediate effect. And at the same time, we are urgently exploring legal and operational possibilities to strengthen the existing cooperation programs with Ukraine, such as the program between Hungary, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine, but also the Interreg, the new transnational program. And on top of this, we will announce, still today, a proposal for a new set of measures that will further support member states in tackling the refugee crisis using cohesion policy resources, including through mainstream programs. History has proven that societies and alliances built on democracy, trust, and freedom are much more resilient and successful. We are more united than ever. We'll continue our support. Now, macro-regional strategies stand for cooperation, mutual benefit, with the aim to improve the life of the people in the regions they cover. Many challenges are too big for one country to face them alone. Just think of cleaning up the Baltic Sea, or navigability in the Danube, or hydrogen as an alternative fuel in the Alps, or making the Adriatic and Ionian region a world-class destination for sustainable tourism. For each of these challenges, we are stronger together. And the challenges of today, the war with Ukraine being the latest, have only served to make macro-regional strategies even more relevant. Macro-regional strategies provide real added value. First, in delivering the twin green and digital transition, leaving the dependence or reducing the dependence on imported oil and gas behind. And we see how important this is. By tailoring these European priorities to the concrete situation of each macro region. Second, in helping to prepare further enlargement of the European Union and further strengthening of our cooperation with partner countries in the European neighborhood. Third, in reinforcing our efforts for fairness and inclusion. These issues have a particular resonance today on this International Day of Women's Rights. But every day, we must work for inclusion and rights for all, strengthening civil society, strengthening local democracy, including young people. Macro-regional strategies are a key space for such actions. You are doing so much, and so much is happening even as we speak. But I count on you to mobilize local and regional actors, economic and social partners, civil society, young people, and to mobilize them from the first plans all the way through actual implementation. Let me say a few words on some of the achievements just for illustration purposes, and also on the challenges ahead. First, the challenge of embedding the priorities and actions of these strategies in European and national funds. I know you have achieved a lot since our meeting last year. I am particularly happy to see several new managing authority networks being established. We in the European Commission have spent a lot of the past year screening draft cohesion policy programs. Although we can see many cases where the embedding of macro-regional priorities is in place, we also see cases where more efforts are needed and welcomed. The programs will soon be underway, so we only have a narrow window left. So link up, please, and align macro regions in the DNA of each program. You can obviously count on our support to push this issue, but the work must start at local, regional, and national level. In other words, at the level that you know best. Another challenge is clearly governance. There is still scope for stronger political leadership. Annual ministerial meetings are key and should be considered in all strategies. In addition, effective contributions from civil society require adequate human and financial resources. You have made some good efforts to involve namely young people, for instance, in the first Alpine Youth Council. And I encourage all of you to find similar ways to involve young people. In the Baltic region, the main focus now is to implement the revised action plan and deliver on key EU policies such as the European Green Deal and the digital transition. You have done considerable work on embedding. This has been a marathon, and you have shown great endurance. The finish line is coming into sight. I encourage you to finish in style. Finally, a main task in 2022 will be to set up the Baltic strategy point. For the Danube region, I applauded the committed work of Croatia and Slovakia, together with the Danube strategy point. You have created a sound basis for aligning strategies and priorities. A lot has been achieved, notably in establishing the managing authority networks. However, in 2022, the process of preparing the new programs comes to an end. So I urge you, use this last chance right. For the Adriatic and Ionian region, my congratulations to San Marino on your accession in February. This takes the Adriatic and Ionian region to a total of 10 countries, of which only 4 are European Union member states. This is a clear sign of the attractiveness of the macro-regional approach. I welcome the revision of your action plan to rise to the challenge of the green and digital transition, using this transition to chart a path out of the economic crisis and towards a balanced recovery, which benefits all regions, especially the tourism sector, which has been hit very hard by the crisis. I welcome your work to facilitate the enlargement process of candidate and potential candidate countries. I particularly welcome your work to bring the strategy closer to citizens and especially young people in this year of European youth. Tirana is the European youth capital. So welcome to Tirana in this endeavor, while Albania is holding the presidency of the Adriatic and Ionian strategy. And we value this very, very much. I am confident that the Albanian presidency will make the most of this perfect alignment to maximize youth engagement. For the Alpine strategy, I am delighted to see that two of the biggest challenges of our time, the pandemic and the climate crisis, feature high on your agenda. In this, I see the practical implementation of two key European Union priorities, the economy that works for people and the European Green Deal. We must leave no one behind, so I find it an excellent signal to entrust the steering of the Alpine strategy to two regions, Bolzano, and Trento, that both take on a firm interest in energy and labor market issues. In closing, I will say that all of the macro-regional strategies are leaders and models in one way or another. You are setting the pace in cooperation across borders. This is a key European achievement these last 12 years. First, the Baltic strategy, then the Danube, the Adriatic and Ionian, and the Alpine strategies. You have all played the role of pioneers in your own way. Thank you for this. Well done. As we return to the future, I return to our motto where we started this conversation: engage, empower, evolve. Let us engage with all the stakeholders and with citizens, of course, especially young people. Let us empower them as your regions evolve, hopefully leaving the times of war behind towards a true, smart, green, and fair future. Discussion starts today or continues today. And I wish you all an exciting, constructive, and stimulating week. Thank you very much.